Hello everyone, today we're gonna be talking about the patch 10.09 that essentially puts Tejo into the ground. We already made a video about Tejo and I didn't change my position at all. I tested him out, we have this on the server, and he's more dead than the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. So pretty dead if you ask me. Now there's one more thing that in this patch notes we're gonna find that actually baffles me, and this is why I'm even making this video. So let's jump in and let's see what's going on. So in the patch notes, we have, all the Tejo changes, but also the breach changes. And that's what we're gonna focus about today. So first and foremost, let's just read out the opinion from the Valorant developers about the Tejo to add some context. We hear you, and we agree that Tejo has been overperforming in some factors. We're constantly monitoring the state of our agents and feel that Tejo's rockets have led to higher frequency of unhealthy game states, such as Tejo's repeated usage of his rockets being able to swing rounds without sacrificing as much compared to other initiators. We want to maintain guided salvo as an ability that is very powerful and reliable at clearing space, but increase the commitment so that wasted or uninformed casts are less free. And so opponents have room to iterate and try different things round over round. We feel that reliable mad targeted flush is a powerful enough tool to warrant not having a cooldown. Additionally, we felt that Tejo's economy could use rebalancing given his strength of the stealth drone. So they just gonna make it more expensive instead of nerfing the drone. Anyway, we talked about it. Like, he, as everything in his equipment got nerfed, and that's pretty a shame. But Breach is getting a nerf. Breach fault line has felt below our counterplay bar for abilities. We want to increase the amount of situations where you can get out of breach stun if you aren't completely in the center. Fault line, time until fault line detonates after its cast increased from 1 second to 1.2 seconds. Now, I played the game for what? 5 years. Since the moment it dropped in alpha and I got an invitation by Riot to play it in the closed alpha, I played it, I loved it, and I feel like I remember most of the changes. So now when it comes to Breach, I legit couldn't remember the last time we have seen a change in Breach, because he is heavily underplayed and he's not even weak or something. He's just underplayed, but also no one ever complained about him apart from the moment when he had 3 flashes, right? So I was like, what was the last time we saw a fault line change? Because it feels like 4 years. So I went in and checked, and it actually was 4 years. That was the time when we got a buff of the fault line. We got a full charge time decrease from 1.5 second to 1 second. It got wider because we don't know what is the units here, but it was increased from 600 to 750, so it was a little bit wider. And this is relevant over here. Telegraph wind-up time decreased from 1.3 to 1 second. This is what is getting nerfed right now. So 4 years ago, it was 1.3 seconds to explode after you use the fault line. That got buffed to 1 second, and now it's gonna go and be nerfed to 1.2 seconds. Now, I don't know, man. I really don't know what to think about changes like this, because it really feels like either there's some really big disconnection between what we play and what the developers play, or we're not getting the bigger picture changes because they're being dripped in, like a change there, a change there. And by the way, Astra got a nerf last patch as well, right? Like the stun got nerfed to 3.5 seconds, but if I remember correctly, well, actually, I just started thinking about it. If I remembered correctly, I think Tejo's stun is still 4 seconds. Let me check quickly. Special delivery, 4 seconds concussed, and it wasn't changed. Yes, so yes, this really confuses me. Essentially, we get an Astra nerf that is being motivated to the fact that everyone should have a same amount of stun or duration of the stun, but then we have those changes of Tejo and his stun is not being changed at all, right? So it's still 4 seconds, so it's longer than Breaches and Astras or Skies, for example, right? But then Breach seems to be feeling like the devs feel that he's overpowered, and I think I know why. It's not because Breach is just good, because no one for the past 5 years complained ever about him apart from the flashes, right? but he's paying the Tejo and Euro tax. Now, I'm saying Tejo and Euro tax, but I'm actually thinking only Euro tax, because in this patch, we are changing Tejo. We're completely like killing him. So we shouldn't even change Breach because of that, because what's the point? You like the pick rate of Tejo and the pick rate of Breach together is gonna be almost non-existent. So we shouldn't be changing Breach because of that, because of the synergy between the stun and the missiles. So what is left? Left is Yoru. So Breach, I think, is getting nerfed because of the Yoru tax. Because Yoru with the stun, a thing that I'm preaching for 2 years, finally is getting used, and suddenly Breach is getting a nerf. And this is another thing for me that is like a mark of what I don't like about current iteration of the game and the direction of it. Because either we're missing like the very big picture of all the changes, and I feel like the developers should be doing all those changes together in one patch so we get better context of the decision making rather than a change here, change there, which are all connected but we see them not connected, right? Or the direction of the game is we are not touching the duelists because they're gonna be the overpowered agents of the game, but everything else that is a support character gets nerfed. We have a history of that, right? We have a history with Sova, we have a history with Fade, we have a history with Viper, we have a history with every single support character getting giga nerfs, almost everything possible. But the duelists are actually still incredibly powerful, and they have the ability and utility that allows them to get kills, while the character that should support them, they're getting nerfed over time, so the duelists don't have too many easy kills because they get the additional support as well. But the support characters are really struggling to actually help themselves. So, you know, you can make an argument that, hey, Jet was overpowered, she got nerfed. Yeah, but still she's incredibly powerful, right? Raze is still incredibly powerful. Yoru for 2 years was incredibly powerful. Loki overpowered, as I always say, and he's still incredibly powerful. Like, even with the changes to the ultimate, he's still incredibly powerful. And I feel like the combo, because of that he's still gonna be most likely the most picked duelist now in this meta game. Breach has to be nerfed, but at the same time we get map pool changes, and I don't think we're gonna see that much of Breach because Fracture leaves, and because of a lack of Tejo, we're also not gonna see a lot of Breach. But then Breach feels worse now for ranked. Even though, I'll be honest with you, the change of 200 milliseconds is not that big of a deal, but for me it's more like emblematic of a direction, right? Like 200 milliseconds is an average reaction time, and I feel like, you know, okay, maybe it was hard to dodge this stun if you see it exploded, right? But at the same time, I know when I play Breach, it's not easy to stun someone with this utility, because you either need the information or you're just banking it off your gut feeling. And to hit someone, it's like you are actually getting the feeling of accomplishing something when someone gets stunned by that. And stun itself is not really a very, very powerful effect because you're getting one-tapped so many times, even when someone is stunned, right? So now you might not even stun a person. So what's the point, right? It's really like problematic to justify some of those changes. I would love to have bigger context, but I know this is gonna be impossible to get in most of the times. I have been critical of some of the changes in the past when, like, for example, the big patch that was changing most of the utility in the game to make it more expensive, and most of the most of the ultimates in the game were more expensive. I thought that this is a very bad direction for the game because less utility is going to be used. Turns out it was a good direction, and I trust the devs. I hope those are good decisions. But if I see so many changes towards the support characters, I really hope that this year we're gonna still see a massive patch to nerf all the duelists. But I'm assuming that will really cause a big rift in the community and people will be complaining so much. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think this is a problem? Do you think this is emblematic for a balancing issue? Or do you think we're ahead of a really bigger change when it comes to all the characters in the game? Because I think this might be it. All right. See you in the next video. Bye bye.